What's up, Score fam? Good morning. It is April 5th. God calling, Heart's Interpreter, and God at Eventide Redeemed. We got early. This is 3 days in a row. Early, guys. We I mean, what can I say? I mean, like, through the grace of God, I woke up before 11 o'clock. Is that crazy? God calling, Heart's Interpreter, April 5th. I hope you guys are having a good day. Rest in me. Seek this evening time just to be with me. Well, you're going to say morning time. Seek this morning time just to be with me. Do not feel you have failed if sometimes I ask you only to rest together in my presence. So guys, a little tip that really helps you to connect with God, right, is to get away from the distractions. Like, get away from the phone. Like, if humans were able to just stare at something long enough to let themselves get bored, right? If we were able to just let ourselves get bored, the creativity that we would have would be boundless, right? And we'd have to spend that time thinking of new things to do, being able to preoccupy ourselves, right? Being efficient, being productive, but we don't, because we're always distracting ourselves. There's always something easier that we could do, just scrolling on the phone, right? Doing any of these things. And so a tip I'd have to really try to connect with God, right, is to really just try to meditate. And I don't mean meditate in like the sense that's like all spiritual and stuff like that, and like be one with everything. But like really like if you see meditation as something that you could do to connect with God, then it's not anything negative at all, right? It could have a negative connotation for some really diehard Christians because that could be seen as spiritual. But no, that's a ridiculous way of looking at it. If you just look at it as you sitting down and you closing your eyes and really trying to connect with God, right? Getting away from the distractions, then there's nothing negative about that. So I would say in the morning, I'm going to try to do that too. In the morning, I stretch, I work out, I kind of do my thing, and then I obviously do this. But I'm going to try to add meditation there and just be able to just sit down and talk to God. Because in those moments, in those quiet moments, is when you really get to connect with him and you really get to see who he is. I ask you only to rest together in my presence. I am with you, much with you both, not only at these times, at all times. Feel conscious of my presence. Earth has no greater joy than that. I am the heart's great interpreter. Even souls who are the nearest together have much in their natures that remain a sealed book to each other. And only as I enter and control their lives do I reveal to each the mysteries of the other. Each soul is so different. I alone understand perfectly the language of each and can interpret between the two. So think about that person that you know all about. Think about that person that you're completely connected to. Like, you think that they're the closest to you in the world, right? You know everything about them. They know everything about you. You know their heart. You know their mannerisms. You know what they're going to do. You know how they act. You know how they think. All these things. Now, imagine that that's the second person that knows you the best, right? You're like, what the heck? Whoa, God knows you so much more than that. He created you. He knows your true heart. He knows your true mind. He knows your true intentions. He knows your soul. He knows the potential of your soul. He knows all these things about you, right? That's what God's saying right here, that God is your true interpreter. He truly knows everything about you and everything that you are, right? God can be your best friend. He knows all these things about you, all right? So just connect with him, all right? Just be honest. Just be open, because there's no one that's going to know you better than God himself. God at Eventide redeemed. Agony and heartache, pain and loneliness, such as no human being has ever known, were the price of your redemption. Truly, you are not your own. You are bought with a price. You belong to me. You are mine to use, mine to love, mine to provide for. Man does not understand the infinite love of the divine. That's crazy. When you put in that perspective, we really don't. Man teaches that as I bought him, so he has to serve, obey, and live for me. That's how we kind of interpret God. We interpret that since God bought us, since he created us, right, we do what they ask, right? It's kind of like how your parents are like, I brought you in this world, I can take you back out. It's not like that at all. He fails to understand that because he is mine, bought by me, it is my responsibility to supply his every need. His part is to realize my ownership and to claim my love and power. So that's crazy. If you look at God, right? God does say he's the Father so much. If you look at him from the perspective of a parent, he's that parent that you want, right? He's that good parent. He's that respectable parent. You can be either like one of two people in your parent. You could be that parent that's like, a full-on like terrorist, right? Just like looming over your kids saying, do this, do that. Like, you just have kids to serve you, right? To build you up, right? It's because you're like, oh, I made them. They're my kid. I paid for them. Let me control them, right? Work for me. Do things for me. And then there's that parent who has a kid and then sees it as their responsibility to now serve them. Sees it as their responsibility. They put themselves in a position to care for something other than themselves. There's two trains of thought there. Should I use someone or should I be of use? And that's what God's saying right here. He's saying, since he's our Father, is it not in his best intention? Understand that it's his responsibility to supply our every need. It's his part to realize his ownership and claim and his love and his power. So guys, don't forget that God truly loves you. He's truly there for you. He's truly your Father. And to be able to sit down and talk to him, right? He knows you so much. He knows your heart. He's your Father. He knows what's best for you, right? So just let him. Just talk to him, right? And just come to him. and be honest with him. He knows how your heart truly is. If you guys really just don't care, if you're like, oh, whatever, it doesn't really matter, right? Like, I'll do that another day. He knows that, and he feels that, but it's not gonna make him angry. He's just waiting. He's still waiting there with his watch, like a father, like, when's it gonna happen? Time's ticking. So that is April 5th. I love you guys so much, and with that, I will say amen.